بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome again, dear students. Inshallah, today we will continue the expansion unit. Yesterday we covered the language review. Inshallah, today we will finish the homework and we will do the writing part. Lesson 2, the writing part. In the previous lesson, we covered many grammar tenses, and we covered also many vocabulary we have used in the previous unit, unit 1, 2, 3. So we covered in general, we revised the simple past, simple present, and the present progressive. We also discussed a given topic. We discussed about endangered species. We read about pandas and tigers. We ask and answer questions using the tenses, and we use our grammar we have learned before. Okay, for today, inshallah, you will, by the end of this lesson, you will differentiate between the tenses. So we have also, we will talk about the tenses, the 3 tenses we covered before. Also, you will write about an endangered species. So it's related to the discussion we covered in the previous lesson. Let's look at our homework. I gave you a homework, page 107 and 108. So did you do the homework? You did? Good. I know you did. So part A, let's see, check the answers together. Part A, write a question and answers. Use these statements: always, usually, sometimes, seldom, and never. These are from unit 1. Okay, so he wants you to use these when here. For the first example, you see these words are scrambled. Okay, so you have to form the question, and for the answer you should use these words. Okay, you should use it to express habitual activities. Okay. How often you eat sandwich? The question will be, how often do you eat sandwiches for lunch? This is, we arranged the question. The answer for the example, he used usually. I usually eat sandwiches for lunch. So the answers, it should be based on you and your habitual activities. Okay? Number 1 until 5. If you haven't done the homework yet, pause the video and do it. If you did, let's see the answers together. Number 1, how often you walk school? So how often do you walk to school? This is how we form the question. I usually walk to school, or I usually walk with my brother to school. Okay. Question 2, how often do you watch TV? I never watch TV. So we use never here. The question, how often do you clean your room? I sometimes clean my room. How often? 4, how often do you go to the mall? I seldom go to the mall. 5, the last one, how often do you do your homework? I always do my homework. Okay, this is 4 until number 5. Okay. Now for part B, exercise B, page 107, complete each sentence, use the simple past. So here basically we're using the simple past. Do you remember how do we form the simple past? Excellent. We have the pronouns, and we have 2 types, then the verb, either ed, verb for the regular, or the irregular verb in the past tense. Then we complete the sentence. So we have these statements, 5 statements. Look at it. Read it, try to use verbs in the past tense, okay? Until 10. So from 1 till 10, let's see the answers together. They are not going to play basketball tonight, but they played basketball last night. So we use the same verb here in the past, okay? I am not meeting my friends for lunch. The past from meeting, met. I met my friend for lunch yesterday. She doesn't usually get sick, but she, the past from get, got sick last week. She had a cold 4, she doesn't usually study on weekends. So the study, the past, for the past we say studied, but he studies this past weekend. 5, we don't usually grow tomatoes on my garden, but we grew. So the past from grow is grew some this past summer. 6, he usually goes skiing. So the past from go is went, but he went surfing last month on vacation. 7, I don't usually make mistakes on my math homework. So make, the past is, but I made. This is irregular. 3 mistakes on my homework yesterday. 8, I don't usually have to do the dishes, but I had. So the past from have is had. Do not to do them last night. 9, my friend and I didn't go shopping yesterday. So the past from go is went, but we went every day last week. The last one, 10, my father didn't drive me to school this morning, but he drove me to school yesterday. So this is for exercise B. Let's see exercise C. Write the questions in, for each answer. So you have questions. You have to write the answers for these questions. Let's read together. Which tense you are using? Also, you are using the simple past tense, okay? So here we have answers. Sorry, we have answers. We have to write the questions. So here, this is the example. My uncle lived in New York. So if I want to remove New York, I will say where. Where? With questions. What do we need to add? With questions, when we ask questions, WH questions, what do we need? Excellent, we need did. We need did to form the questions. Did is important. Where did your uncle live? My uncle lived in New York. This is a completion. Look at the the rest of the answers. You have to write the questions using the past simple past tense. Okay. Let's see the answers together. For number 2. Sorry. What number 1 we already talked about it. Number 2. What did Amal do? Okay. Or what did Amal watch yesterday evening? Both are correct. You can say either do or watch, okay? Because the answer is watch. You can say do or watch. Both are correct. Question 3, what did Hussein wear to the job interview? To the job interview, Hussein wore a suit and tie to the job interview. 4, what did they do on the airplane? What did they do? They slept on the airplane. 5, where did your brother go to college? This is the number 5. The last one, 6, where did Ali and his family stay last year? When they, or you can say when they went to the beach. So where did Ali and his family stay last year? When did they went to the beach? Ali and his family stayed in a hotel last year when they went to the beach. So this is for exercise C. We have a lot. I gave you 2 pages, so we have a lot of exercises to cover, okay? Exercise D, write sentences about you or your family or your friends. So you're using information about either you, your friends, or your family. Look at the information. We have be born, be married, be raised, be called, be educated. What do you think? Which tense are we going to use? We have the ED. Then it's past. I agree. But do you remember when we talked about the past? We said there is 2 types. The apple was eaten. Do you remember it? Excellent. The passive voice. we're gonna use the passive voice to answer these questions, okay? You should refer to the previous unit to answer, to check how we form that passive voice. We use the verb to be, we use, because it's in the past, we use was and were for the passive voice. Then the verb 3, do you remember? Yes. So be born, I was, the verb to be, I was born in Jizan on January 23, 1997. This is the example they have given you. And we have the rest. Married, you can talk about your parents. Raised, you can talk about yourself. Here you can talk about anyone. You can basically talk about yourself, your family, or your friends to answer these questions, okay? Let's see, be married. My parents, so I'm talking about my parents. Because they are plural, I said were married in Jeddah. So were married in Jeddah. Be raised, I was raised in Jeddah, okay? I was raised, I am a singular, so that I used Y. Be called, I was called Little Ali when I was young. This is what they used to call Ali. Be educated, my father was educated in Riyadh, okay? This is how, these are how you use the passive voice in statement to talk about people around you, okay? Now for exercise E, write questions and answers, and here you have to use to. Do you remember use to? We use it to talk about habitual activities in the past, not now, okay? So we talk about things we used to do a lot in the past, now we stopped. We don't do it anymore, okay? For example, here they have the statement. So you have to write a question and an answer. The question, what did Khalid used to play? What did Khalid used to play? Khalid used to play basketball. Do the rest, okay? Do the rest, pause the video. If you did it already, let's see the answers together. For number 1, what did Ibrahim used to eat? He used to eat a lot of fast food. 2, what did they use to study? They used to study English. This is the answer. And here we have information about Saeed. What did Saeed use to drive? Saeed used to drive his father's car. For 4, what did your brother and you used to drink every morning before school? My brother and I used to drink coffee every morning before school. So this is it for the homework. We did a lot of exercises. You use different tenses. You use the passive voice and you use the active voice to answer these questions, to do these exercises. Also, you used to. You talked about habitual activities you used to do in the past, and you talked about your family, friends. I'm sure it's easy. If it's not, please refer to the previous lesson for more and thorough explanation, okay? For the writing on page 33, for the writing, okay? Imagine you belong to an organization that helps to protect endangered or vulnerable animals, okay? So you are working with in an organization. So you are working for the government and you are protecting animals, okay? Imagine that you are working there, okay? This is the first thing. Unfortunately, you only have funds, we're talking about money. You only have funds to help one species, so you're gonna help only one. There are a lot of animals, they are endangered, they are at risk, okay? So you only can save one. So decide which animal you would like to help protect and write a report about it. So what does he want you to do? He wants you to write a report about an endangered animal. You are working at a government place to protect endangered animals. they don't have the money and the funds to protect all the animals. They only have to protect one, okay? Which one? Okay, you have to write a report. You have to think about one animal, okay? Choose one animal to write about. So you will choose an animal to write about. You have to give information. Do you remember when we covered the information about tigers and pandas? Use it as a sample, okay? Use it as a sample. So look at the information they covered. You can, do you know these information? La. So when you choose an animal, you have to look up the information. You have to do a lot of research, okay? Research for the amount they eat. Give us facts, give us reasons. So we will be convinced when we read it, yeah, he's right, Ahmed is right, Muna is right. Okay, I will listen to her and I will give you the funds, ya Muna. Well, I will give you the funds, ya Ahmed. Okay? So when I read it, you have to be convincing. You have to give me a lot of numbers, a lot of facts to help you write. Okay? So you have to cover these things. Okay? So you have to decide which animal you want to protect. You have to think about the animal. Okay? Then write it down. Do you remember in writing, when I tell you, yalla write, do we write immediately? La. We don't write directly. Sometimes we use a timeline. Sometimes we use tables, right? So these, just to help you gather information, help you organize your ideas. So use this to organize your idea about the report you're gonna write. So you have to write about which animal you chose, okay? Then where this species live, the place. So you have to write the location, okay? Write about the climate, the place. Is it desert? Is it a forest? Okay? What makes it special? So you have to convince us this is a special animal. ليش it's special? You have to convince me. You have to give me reasons. Okay? Things people can do to protect it. And what do you think people can do to protect this animal? Include, when you talk about the location and the place, you talk about how the weight and the length about of the animal, the place it lives, the amount food it consumes, etc. So these information are very important. So to convince the people who read the report that this animal is important, okay? So basically this is your homework plus page 109. So you have to write a report, okay? Also, you have to do page 109 as a homework. So what did we cover today? Today we covered the homework exercises, which basically was about all the tenses we took in Unit 1, 2, 3. Also, about the writing, it's related to the previous lesson. It's about an endangered species, an animal that it is endangered, and we have to imagine that we are working in a preservation and we're gonna protect this animal. We only have funds for one, and we have to convince the people who were there to give us the funds and choose our animal. We have to include a lot of facts. You have to do a lot of research, and remember to complete the prompts to help you, okay? That's it for today. Thank you for listening. Inshallah, I will see you next class, and good luck.